Some major updates are shaking up the Cincinnati Bengals ahead of Sunday's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. These injuries could completely change how this game plays out, and the Bengals know it's a must-win moment if they want to turn the season around. Sitting at 2-3, the Bengals still have a real shot to climb back into contention. But to do that, they'll need to stay healthy and sharp. Let's break down who's in, who's out, and why this game matters so much. Before we get into the latest team news, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let's move on to the new news. Now, the key story this week centers around the Bengals' roster health. A few important names have popped up on the injury report, and that's something fans should watch closely. Dylan Fairchild missed practice due to a knee issue, which raises questions about depth on the offensive line. B.J. Hill appeared on the report as well, but his absence was mostly for rest, nothing too concerning there. The Bengals have been fighting through a tough 3-game skid, and every detail matters now. Getting players back, stabilizing the offense, and finding their rhythm again, that's what Sunday is all about. Cincinnati has the talent. It's just about putting it together when it counts. For the Bengals, this week's injury list tells a deeper story than just names and notes. It's a reflection of where this team stands right now. Veterans usually get a rest day, but B.J. Hill showing up with an ankle tag is worth keeping an eye on. It could be precautionary, but every small setback matters when you're trying to climb out of a losing streak. The major focus, though, is Shemar Stewart. He's been sidelined for weeks with that ankle injury, and his return could shift the tone of the entire defense. The Bengals have missed his burst off the edge, that spark in the pass rush that turns stalled drives into 3-and-outs. If he's cleared to play, expect Cincinnati's pressure game to look a lot more dangerous. Across from them, Green Bay's offensive line is banged up, which gives the Bengals an opening. Trey Hendrickson, as always, will be the key. He's been the team's most consistent disruptor, pushing the pocket and setting the tempo. If the Packers' blockers aren't 100%, Hendrickson could be the difference maker. Still, none of that will matter unless the Bengals show fight. The talent is there, but in recent games, they've looked flat, out of rhythm, and far from the team fans expected to see this season. Sunday isn't just another matchup. It's a test of pride, focus, and belief. Cincinnati's moment to respond has arrived. The question is, will they seize it? Let's be honest, the Bengals haven't exactly been hanging tight in their recent matchups. Games that were supposed to be close have slipped away fast. But this week brings a twist. Joe Flacco is stepping in. He arrived in Cincinnati with barely enough time to unpack before being named the starter. That's a bold move, and it could either spark a comeback or expose the growing pains of a quick transition. Fans are hopeful he can steady the offense, bring leadership, and give this team the composure it's been missing. Still, timing matters. Chemistry matters. A quarterback walking in midseason has to learn fast, new teammates, new play calls, new rhythm. Whether Flacco can pull it all together by Sunday will say a lot about where this team is headed. Meanwhile, the small details could define this game. If it's close and it comes down to a kick, just imagine the irony. The Bengals once lost to the Browns on a missed kick, and now Flacco, who came from Cleveland, could lead them in a game where special teams might again decide the outcome. Every sign points to this. Cincinnati has to fight for every yard, every drive, every quarter. The excuses are gone. It's time to prove this team still has its heart. Green Bay's kicker situation might sound like a side note, but in football, the smallest detail can change everything. A sore leg, a mistimed snap, those are the moments that flip a win into a loss. And if Sunday's game turns into a close one, every point will matter. But the real story isn't about the Packers. It's about the Bengals making a bold move, a necessary one. After 3 rough weeks, the offense just wasn't producing. Jake Browning had his shot, but the turnovers and lack of deep plays were holding the team back. With weapons like Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, that simply couldn't continue. So now it's Joe Flacco's turn. He's not a long-term savior, he's a spark. A veteran who's seen it all and knows how to manage a game. What the Bengals need right now isn't perfection, it's control, confidence, and leadership under pressure. At 2-3, Cincinnati is just 1 game shy of the wildcard mix. The season is very much alive. If Flacco can steady the ship and the defense keeps building momentum, this team could easily climb back into playoff form. The question isn't whether the Bengals can do it, it's whether they'll seize the moment before it slips away. Let's be real, nobody expects the Bengals to suddenly rip off a massive winning streak. But staying in the playoff chase? That's absolutely possible. The mission right now is survival, keep pace, stay close, and be ready when Joe Burrow is healthy enough to return, possibly in December. That means Joe Flacco has one job: hold the line. Keep the offense steady. Keep the locker room calm. And give this team a chance to still matter when their franchise quarterback comes back. It's a fascinating gamble, a 40-year-old veteran stepping in for a team that's been searching for consistency under center. Flacco brings experience, but experience only takes you so far without protection. The offensive line will have to rise to the moment, something they struggled to do for Jake Browning. Sure, Browning didn't always get the help he needed, but he also missed reads, held the ball too long, and couldn't find rhythm in the pocket. That's what separates the great quarterbacks, split-second decisions that change everything. So here we are, questions everywhere, pressure mounting, and a team still very much in the fight. The next few weeks will reveal whether the Bengals can weather the storm, or if they'll be waiting for Burrow with too much ground to make up. Credit where it's due, the Bengals recognized the change was necessary. Instead of watching another week slip by, they acted. Bringing in Joe Flacco wasn't about chasing headlines. It was about stabilizing a team that needed experience and control. Head coach Zach Taylor shared his thoughts on the move, saying he's only met Flacco once before his arrival, but he's confident in what the veteran brings. Taylor mentioned that Flacco's understanding of the game, his comfort in familiar concepts, and the overlap in terminology should make the transition smoother than expected. That's encouraging. It means the playbook won't need a complete overhaul. Flacco already speaks much of the same football language. Now, no one's expecting fireworks right away. This offense isn't built for instant miracles. But what the Bengals can expect is steadiness, someone who's been in high-pressure moments, made the tough reads, and knows how to protect the ball. Behind a struggling offensive line, that kind of composure could be the difference between another frustrating loss and a much-needed win. It's not about lighting up the scoreboard, it's about bringing order back to chaos. Let's be honest, everything hinges on the offensive line. Until that group finds consistency, every quarterback who lines up behind them will be fighting uphill. Joe Burrow struggled behind it. Jake Browning barely had time to breathe. Now it's Joe Flacco's turn to try and make quick decisions before the pocket collapses. That's what this move is really about, decision-making under fire. Flacco isn't expected to torch defenses or post monster stats. The Bengals just need him to manage the game, protect the football, and give their playmakers a chance to shine. If he can do that, this team's offense can finally start to settle. Of course, turnovers will happen. Flacco has thrown his share of interceptions. But the difference now is the talent around him. Cincinnati has weapons Cleveland never did: Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, and a deep supporting cast capable of changing games with one big play. On the defensive side, getting Shemar Stewart back would be huge. His presence off the edge adds punch to a pass rush that needs to slow down Green Bay's offense and keep the Bengals in control. There's no sugarcoating it, this game is a turning point. If the offensive line steps up and Flacco delivers stability, Cincinnati could finally look like the team everyone expected to see this season. If not, it's going to be another long Sunday. Either way, all eyes are on the Bengals. Getting Shemar Stewart back would be a massive boost for the Bengals' defense. The rookie was starting to show real flashes of that first-round potential before his injury, strong off the edge, quick with his hands, and disruptive opposite Trey Hendrickson. Seeing those two rush together again could be the spark this defense has been missing. Those are the storylines to circle heading into Sunday. Will Stewart return and make an impact? Can Joe Flacco deliver the steadiness the offense has been desperate for? And how will Cincinnati handle a Green Bay team dealing with its own injury concerns? The Bengals don't need perfection this week, they just need progress. A little more protection up front, a little more rhythm on offense, and a little more pressure on defense could completely shift their momentum. Sunday's game isn't just another test, it's a statement opportunity. A chance for Cincinnati to remind everyone that the season isn't over, not by a long shot.